Hey everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. Today is another video that looks at a specific literary genre. Recently we've looked at the new adult category and also upmarket fiction. Today we're going to be looking at women's fiction, and I'll be honest, this video is probably going to be greatly my opinion since what the genre is fairly self-explanatory. So in this video I'll talk about what women's fiction is, but I also do want to talk a little bit about the term and discuss how I feel about it. To be clear, this term exists, it's used in publishing, it's still used in publishing. You can query a book as women's fiction, you can market a book as women's fiction, and if looking at all the genres out there, you feel that women's fiction is the term that best suits your book and is going to be most beneficial in marketing your book, go for it. The term exists, and if that's what your book is, use the tools you have to your benefit. That said, I do not love the term. This is the more formal definition I was able to find for women's fiction. Women's fiction is fiction that is marketed to female readers, including genres such as mainstream, romance, and chick lit. Books that focus on women's life experiences and are marketed to female readers. And the Romance Writers of America also includes in their definition that the book includes a hopeful or upbeat ending with regard to her romantic relationship. This is all really vague, right? Sounds super vague, but let's be real, we have a pretty clear understanding of what women's fiction is. Typically, women's fiction has qualities such as it focuses on an emotional or personal journey, it probably features a romance, it has a light, heartfelt, or sentimental tone, and the ending is either hopeful or, on the flip side, tragic. While researching this genre, I found a really interesting article from Book Riot that I'll leave linked in the description. The author brought up that you'd find it pretty ridiculous if there was a genre called fiction for people with brown eyes. Just because that group of people has one thing in common doesn't really dictate what type of fiction they will read, and that's kind of how I feel about women's fiction. Obviously it's different, gender steers your life in a different way than your eye color, but I do think it's a valid point. It kind of places fiction for men as like the default, whereas women's genre needs to be specifically categorized because not all books are for women. I've also seen quite a lot as I was researching this for this video. I saw women's fiction defined as books about the female journey, and to that I ask, what does that mean? Any book that has a female protagonist could be considered about the female journey. If the main character is a woman, the story is her journey, therefore the book is about the female journey. Not all books with female protagonists are considered women's fiction. Typically, the books that are considered women's fiction have either a light or cutesy or sincere tone and focus on small, day-to-day, low-stakes problems or romantic relationships, which just speaks to stereotypes about what women find interesting, rather than speaking to what the female journey really is. If a book has a female protagonist and the book is about her murdering zombies in the zombie apocalypse, is that book not about the female journey, whereas a book that has a contemporary, quiet plotline and is about a woman is about the female journey? Both the characters are women. Both of the books are their journey. The zombie book would never be classed as women's fiction, even if the protagonist is a woman, it's written by a woman, and all of the side characters were women. Even if all the zombies were women. That book would never be classed as women's fiction because it doesn't fall under this stereotypical idea about what women enjoy reading. Personally, I wish the term would fade out. I feel that the term is outdated. I think some people are already starting to see the term as outdated, but personally I think it's outdated to the point that it should probably be phased out. Most books that are women's fiction are contemporary and probably should just be marketed as contemporary or marketed as romance. Adding this extra label that they're women's fiction to me is unnecessary, patronizing. It's kind of saying this is what we expect women to enjoy reading, and it's all grounded in stereotypes. And sure, there are women who enjoy those books and there's nothing wrong with enjoying those books. It's really not accurate to say this is what women enjoy reading and women will find these books appealing, because women find all types of books appealing. If you're just as an individual writer, you write women's fiction and it's a term you like for your books and it works for you and it helps you find your target audience, go for it. Nothing wrong with using the terms that are available to you to use. But I think there are already existing genre labels that describe these books like contemporary or romance. Even if it's primarily women who read those genres, I don't think that's a necessary label to tack on. So this is mostly an opinion piece. Typically, this channel is quite objective. Those are some of my thoughts on women's fiction. I would love to hear your thoughts on women's fiction, so let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got new writing, editing, and publishing tips every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time.